Gold dust. Melvin rushes out in his Range Rover Jeep. He's making a call to Lorenzo when he hears gunshots at the other end of the line, and the call gets cut. He drives past a team of National Drug Law Enforcement Agency NDLEA officers, who then give chase. They set up a roadblock ahead of him, forcing him to come to a halt. They point their rifles at him, ordering him to step out of the car slowly. Melvin steps out like a boss.
What is the meaning of this?
Wow. They demand to search his car and find cocaine in the compartment. He goes,
Don't understand who you are.
He gets arrested and then they proceed to his home to search warrant. On entering, Lady proceeds to out that the key to his safe is on his right arm. Everlasting flashback. He recalls his first encounter with a lady. She spilled a drink on him while drunk. Her name is Trixie. Next, we see a team of detectives from NDLEA set up a task force. Trixie was one of them. Their objective is to capture a drug syndicate. We get introduced to their suspects: Tiny, Walter, Lorenzo, and Melvin. Next, we are introduced to the drug syndicate led by Melvin receiving a shipment in their secret warehouse.
I'm missing something in my hotel.
The Melvin syndicate later meet up at a secret spot to continue with their drug deal with South African drug and diamond smugglers Ntanda and Koketsu. Lorenzo has a cheesy Italian accent.
No, amigo. I'm afraid that is not possible.
Trixie and her friends Imelda are driving to the salon when Trixie receives a call from her boss, changes her destination. Brace yourself, this movie is full of phone calls. Back at the syndicate meeting, the Koketsu syndicate insists they want to see the drug samples.
What? I go
Melvin
beyond
is
not
skeptical
liking you.
and refuses,
I
as
don't
they were
like
in a
your
public
mother.
bar and he didn't have samples on him. His partners get pissed off and leave.
Waste my time coming here to do business with this guy.
Chile, Melvin.
Don't even speak that Italian mumbo jumbo with me right now.
Trixie and Imelda come into the bar in thick makeup. Lorenzo sights them and Melvin invites them to the table. At the NDLEA office, the chief investigating officer updates the team with information returned down Koketsu, who are both drug and diamond dealers from South Africa. After the update, they leave. Compassion? Trixie ends a phone call with Melvin and Imelda complains about Trixie's relationship with Melvin. Melvin's syndicate meet again and report on an increase in their profits. Lorenzo suggests increasing the price of their products, while Tiny suggests they slow down a bit so as not to attract unwanted attention. They all complain about Walter having an addiction that he cannot control. Lorenzo meets Imelda at her workplace in a boutique and asks her for information regarding Trixie, and she gets defensive in order to protect her. Lorenzo calls Melvin to let him know Trixie and Imelda are hiding something. He does not trust them. Imelda also informs Trixie regarding her run-in with Lorenzo. Lorenzo and Tiny try calling Walter before heading for a transaction, but he was too busy in bed to pick the call. They then come by to kick the girls out as they prepare for a meeting with their client. Trixie does not want Melvin to know what she does for a living. The South African dealer Ntanda of Koketsu syndicate arrives at the hotel for the meeting with Melvin's syndicate. Ntanda sees the drug samples. Meanwhile, Melvin is at his mother's home in the village eating swallow. His mom complains about his failure to call his sister Stella every day and his senior bachelorhood. It was time for him to get married. He reassures her he's seen somebody. Lorenzo updates Melvin on the meeting, stating that Koketsu will pay in diamonds. Trixie walks into the room and this is the discussion. Lorenzo leaves. The couple spend time together and Melvin once again inquires what she does for a living. And she tells him she intends temporarily at a pharmaceutical company while seeking for a job. Trixie discreetly hides to take a call from Bayo, a detective colleague. Lorenzo visits Tiny at his home and they step out to discuss. Lorenzo complains regarding Melvin's girlfriend Trixie that he has a bad feeling. Tiny shrugs it off. Walter is deep into his addictions and is starting to exhibit psychosis in his hotel room and drives out. He gets kidnapped by unknown gunmen. Melvin serves Trixie breakfast in bed.
Baby, you're so sweet.
Maybe you were sweeter.
Trixie and Bayo present updates to their boss.
We are beginning to make headway.
What do you mean by headway? This is totally not acceptable by me. Trixie, you are the field agent in charge. So give me something to report to my superiors.
Trixie is planning a birthday party for Melvin to set up a drug bust.
This is what I call headway.
Bayo, however, suggests they delay the bust until they can establish the existence of documents that can be used to prosecute and bust the entire drug network. Phone call with Bibi.
Hi, baby.
Melvin surprises Trixie with a birthday cake.
Happy birthday, darling.
How would you know?
Trixie then confronts Imelda for giving information regarding her birthday. Back at the task force office, they find information that a commissioner is working with the syndicate. They once again emphasize the necessity of getting the top secret document. After the meeting, Officer Bayo speaks to Trixie to ensure she has not grown attached to Melvin. Imelda finally confesses to Trixie that her relationship with Melvin was a job, and she has grown to love him. Her friend consoles her and advises her to pull out of the case, but she says she can't. Phone call with Baby.
Hi, baby.
Trixie searches Melvin's apartment for evidence when she gets confronted by his sister, Stella. Stella calls her brother to report. Melvin tries to reconcile Trixie with Stella. Phone call. Stella tells Melvin she still does not trust Trixie. More phone call. Bayo reports back to the boss that he suspects the transaction is about to go down. Trixie receives a call from Bayo, and Stella overhears the conversation. She reports to her mom that she suspects Trixie to be a gold digger. Lorenzo comes visiting. Turns out Stella is his girlfriend. He then meets up with Melvin and they head out. Trixie overhears their conversation and phone call. She informs the task force the transaction is happening at the moment. She frowns and sits on the ground. Task force boss shouts,
Who is that? Please come in!
Bayo comes in and informs her that the transaction is about to happen. She requests for documents. He apologizes.
Yeah,
She
call up
orders
all
him to
units
call up
and
the
stand
boss.
down. What? You just do what I asked you to do. Just stand down.
The crime syndicate meeting occurs with a background Nollywood secret called soundtrack. Walter is present. A phone call to Melvin with Trix interrupts the transaction. The transaction continues, and they exchange diamonds for the drugs. Melvin returns home and surprises Trixie with a jewel necklace. Stella is jealous. Melvin also gives his sister a gift. They are partying, it's Melvin's birthday. Walter is dancing like a madman. Bayo is present. Trixie takes Bayo out and confronts him for attending. He explains he tried reaching her to inform her of an urgent meeting the next day, since she wasn't picking his calls. Stella steps out of the house with Lorenzo. She says she's suspicious of Trixie. Lorenzo says the same. Trixie is still conflicted regarding her feelings for Melvin. The next morning, Lorenzo gives Melvin his car keys to a Range Rover. Walter walks in drunk with two girls. Trixie offers to drop them off. At the task force meeting, their boss gives them an update on their investigations. Turns out Koketsu double-crosses people he deals with. He wouldn't want any evidence of their transaction. They expect the same MO to be used against the Melvin Syndicate. Melvin Syndicate have a meeting without Melvin. The Ntanda Syndicate were claiming that the drugs they received were substandard. They wanted their diamonds back. Ten also mentioned he noticed the goods were tampered with. Gunshots. The Melvin warehouse was attacked by an unknown gunman suspected to be from the Koketsu Syndicate. Gunshots were exchanged. They successfully repelled the shooter. Mama Kelvin comes to visit her son.
Chai, she's such a beauty.
It's not as if she's that fine, Mom.
Nakwanka.
They have dinner as a family. Stella gives attitude when she finds out it was Trixie that cooked. Turns out she threw away the food. They had a girl on the feasting moment.
It means what's supposed to mean. Stop speaking up. What do you mean?
Mama separates them.
Shut your mouth. One more word. I said one more word. I dare you. Idiot.
Trixie cried to her boyfriend. Midnight argument. Walter the drug addict is in his hotel room. There's a knock on the door.
Make sure you're beautiful. If you're ugly, you are dead.
He gets jumped by unknown gunmen. It was the Koketsu gang. Koketsu wants his diamond back. Walter said,
Excuse me.
they waste his guest.
What the fuck is wrong with you? What do you just do?
Tiny comes home and finds it scattered. The Koketsu gang had kidnapped his family. Phone call. Tiny sheds tears. They threaten him to get the diamond back. Phone call. With tears, he convinces Lorenzo to come to the warehouse. Phone call. Bayo calls to inform Trixie that Walter and Tiny's family had been kidnapped.
You were supposed to have units posted on them. So how is Walter missing and Tiny's family kidnapped?
She complains about the plot hole but never resolve it. Tiny is missing his family, holding tight the teddy goat. The NDLEA come to see him. They promise to help him get his missing family back if he assists them stand as a witness for a reduced sentence. Lorenzo is at the warehouse waiting for Tiny when Koketsu gang attacks. They take out the men while Lorenzo escapes inside. He calls Melvin while in the heat of battle. We finally get to the first scene of the movie before the flashback. Trixie notices him rushing out and calls Bayo. She's updated on the situation with Tiny. She orders Bayo to arrest Melvin and keep him from getting to the warehouse. She had placed the evidence in the car's glove compartment. It turns out Walter was the one who betrayed the Melvin syndicate to the Koketsu gang.
Walter? Walter, you bloody!
Ever since he was initially abducted. He was also the one who adulterated some of the drugs and launched the initial attack on the warehouse. Lorenzo calls Walter a traitor. Lorenzo gets mad and kicks a chair, and the chair kicks him back. They exchange gunfire. Walter gets shot and he flies. Walter gets shot but the wall bleeds. Walter dies. Ntanda and Tiny exchange gunshots and they get involved in hand-to-hand combat.
Removing my shirt, of course.
Why?
It's Italian, see?
Meanwhile, NDLEA are surrounding the warehouse. Tiny stabs Ntanda and he dies. He tries escaping the warehouse but exchanges gunshots with the rest of Koketsu's gang. They kill him. NDLEA then shouts, "Surrender your weapons!" They exchange gunfire with Koketsu gang and take them out. This one died but he's still sweating. Meanwhile, Mommy Melvin comes out to the scene of her son's arrest.
Trixie, why are you lying?
I'm sorry, Mom.
I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Mom. You're sorry, Mom.
She orders Bayo to go bring in Tiny, while she decides to take Melvin in. While taking Melvin to the station, she confesses her love for Melvin, stops the car and bashes her head into the steering wheel, ketchup everywhere. She sets him free and tells him she set him up so he won't get hurt in the warehouse attack. She helps him escape. Bayo arrests Trixie for letting Melvin escape. Bayo and Tiny burst into Koketsu's apartment and arrest him. They set the captives free and take Tiny into custody. Years later, they finally end their phone call with a hug. The end. This is the movie for you if you enjoy bloodless ketchup gunfights and watching one-sided phone conversations.
Hi, baby.